Kia ora, greetings, g'day, hello and welcome back here with another question and my response here on the SAS reality check. So let's jump in. Hi Joe, I'm reaching out because I'm hitting a roadblock with my running as the kilometers increase and as I try to improve my times over the 2.4 and 3.2 kilometer runs. Okay. Every time I try to push my 2.4 kilometer pace or while doing hill sprints or while doing my weighted runs for the 3.2, I'm met with sharp knee pain and calf tightness, which has been impacting the amount of running I'm able to do. I feel like I'm stuck in a cycle of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's funny, like I'll carry on reading this soon, but I'll just mention this now before I forget. I appreciate the questions, don't get me wrong, the things coming through, but I'm definitely no sports scientist, when it comes to this stuff. So, but I guess people understand that before they send me their questions, and I'm just going to give you my take, based on any experience that I might have in that particular area and or my thoughts. So anyway, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I see guys online talking about running through the pain, but when I try that, my form breaks down and my times are much slower. Okay. Do you think this is a case of needing better running mechanics, or do I just need to suck it up and get on with it? Better running mechanics. I am no expert at all with regards to running mechanics. My running technique and mechanics is probably a shambles if I was to be placed in front of somebody that studies that stuff and tries to help people improve their running technique or mechanics. Or do I just need to suck it up and get on with it? Hang on, let me carry on. I'm caught between wanting to harden my legs for the constant pounding of selection and the fear that I'm just accumulating junk miles and inflammation that will come back to bite me. How did you manage the sheer volume of impact during your prep? Did you ever have to swap out runs for low impact work like the rower or bike to save your joints, or is that just training soft? I really appreciate your perspective on this. And then they've signed off. Man, cool query or email. Thank you for sending through the question. Better running mechanics, I can't speak to that. So I've got nothing for you there. I can't really offer anything in terms of around better running mechanics, other than agreeing with you. When you say, do you think this is a case of needing better running mechanics? It could be, but the best way to find out is to find somebody that specializes in that and that can do an assessment and then provide you the feedback or information to help. Do I just need to suck it up and get on with it? If you are you're experiencing sharp knee pain and calf tightness, again, like I've said on other videos for people that have contacted about injuries and that sort of thing, you know your body better than I do or anybody else. So if it's something out of the norm, maybe it might pay to go get it checked out, So go see a doctor, go see a physio, whatever you need to do to, try to get an understanding of what it is. Because once you know what it is that you're dealing with, and that, in my opinion, could probably only come from somebody that knows what they're talking about and that can give you that diagnosis, then you have a better idea and a better game plan of how to treat it, how to manage it, so that you can continually make progress towards your goal. So that's my take on that, in terms of just sucking it up. Like, maybe get it checked out if you feel you need to. Wanting to harden your legs, I understand that, to prepare for the constant pounding. One thing that I'll mention with regards to selection, you're not wrong in terms of the constant pounding during selection, but it's not pounding in the form of running every day. Like, yeah, there'll be periods of time where you're going to be needing to run, right? 2.4, 3.2 are just a couple of those. With the pack on and the 20 clicker in Australia, you'll be shuffling and needing to move. In NZ, a large part of that day one, and then other days, open country, close country navigation, maybe even some of the 60 kilometer, you might shuffle a little bit by that final stage. There'll be some parts there, like you're still taking a pounding, your legs are still, everything's still taking a pounding with regards to that and the accumulation of the work. But if you're worried about it from the context of, I need to be running everywhere and you're going to be in PT kit, well, that's not the case. It's by and large, a majority is with your pack on. Whether you choose to run with your pack on is going to be up to you. Whether you're able to physically run the whole time with your pack on is, hats off to you if that's something that you're able to do. I definitely couldn't and wasn't able to. But you will take a hammering whilst you're on selection. So that part is true with regards to what you've mentioned there. And you're saying here, fear that I'm accumulating junk miles and information that will come back to bite me. That's an interesting point. Junk miles, I've not heard that term before. Maybe they are junk miles. I never looked at any of my training as junk miles. I always looked at it as though they would accumulate and come in as reserves or be stored in the bank, that sweat equity, so to speak, stored in the bank, and that it would come back, not to bite me, but come back to help me down the track. That's how I viewed it. So right or wrong, that's the way that I approached it. I never thought of the term junk miles. Am I just wasting my time? I might have felt down about my performance on a lot of training sessions, but I never thought of them as junk miles. I thought, man, if I can still get up and do this, even though I perform miserably this day and the next day and the next day and etc., I just felt like those things would come back to help me and spur me on down the track once I got onto selection. So maybe that might help in some small way. How did you manage the sheer volume of impact during your prep? That's a really good question. I mean, I had no science behind it. I had no training partner. I wasn't training with anybody for the New Zealand selection. I didn't have any regular training partners for my time in the Australian selection. There were a bunch of guys, a group of us that went on selection in Australia from 4RAR, from Recce Platoon, and 4RAR in general. So we did have the odd training sessions here and there, but didn't have like a regular, we're training for selection training partner or group of people that I trained with. I just got out and did it on my own. Listened to my body, but also didn't listen to my body and my mind a lot of times when I felt tired and sore and didn't feel like training. I just had to slap myself or give myself an uppercut and then just crack on, get up and crack on with the work. So that managing the sheer volume of impact during my prep, I think if I look at Australia, having been through the New Zealand selection, I knew that my body, by that stage, before doing the Australian selection, I knew that my body could take and put up with a heck of a lot more than what I originally thought I could put up with. So that, I guess, gave me confidence, not to mention my body probably, I don't know how old you are, but my body probably matured a bit more as well. So I would have been, like I was 20 when I did selection in NZ, I would have been 21 on cycle, over to Australia, off to Timor, 22, come back, 23. I would have been 23. So still only a couple of years older, still young, still a puppy at that age. But I guess that experience from selection and the extra couple of years growth, maturity, whatever, I think it helped out in some small way. So that probably helped with the sheer volume, but mentally also knowing what I'd been through and what I could then put up with. Did you ever have to swap out runs for low impact work? Yeah, most probably. I can't think of times right off the top of my head, but no doubt I probably did do that because I know there's no way I would have done every session hard. I just wouldn't have been able to maintain it. Every session probably felt hard, but I know that there would have been times where I would have swapped out things or adjusted my training based on how I was feeling. Not all the time. There were some times where I knew I was just trying to take the easy way out. So I was like, yeah, no, I just need to do this pack session again, even though I would have preferred doing a run or a bike or a swim. So, but yeah, swapping things out is definitely, there's nothing wrong with that. And you've got here like a rower or a bike. Yeah, definitely do that to save your joints. Or is that just training soft? Depends, eh? Like I said, you'll be the one that can answer that. And I just gave an example there where I knew I was just trying to take the easy option. That's my perspective. You've got here, really appreciate my perspective and signing off on that. Man, I'm assuming that you're in Australia and that you're preparing for the Australian selection when you mentioned 2.4 and 3.2. Obviously, the 3.2, for those that may not be aware, is a weighted run with your webbing, uniform, boots, carrying your rifle. So I think the kit total weight is about 8 kgs worth of extra weight that you're carrying in your webbing, and I think your weapon combined, or maybe it's 8 kilometers plus the weapon. Can't remember these days, but about 8 kilometers, maybe it's a little bit more, and 3.2. So you know, trying to maintain around about that 5 minute per kilometre pace is hard. Is harder than it sounds. And I nearly made the fatal mistake of underestimating that prior to mine, but I'll leave that for another time. So anyway, with regards to your struggles with your running, some of the injuries and stuff that you're experiencing, get it checked out if you need to, if it's outside the norm. You know, if you're looking to take the easy way out or not. So, you know, you decide. And I didn't think any of the work that I was putting in was accumulating junk miles. I thought that they would come back to help down the track. So take from this what you can. Hopefully I've mentioned something that might be able to help in some small way, or at the very least, give my perspective or my thoughts on this and share honestly with you some of the things that I had. Like, again, I think I mentioned in another video, I was really fortunate. I didn't have any major injuries or anything like that going into either of my selections in NZ or Australia. So yeah, that definitely helped. That being said, appreciate your time and for sending it through once again. Likewise to anybody that spent any time here. And as always, the message is the same, man. If you're going through dark times, challenges, hard times right now, just stay in the fight, eh? Keep turning up, put one foot in front of the other and just take one day at a time. Be kinder to yourself. Know that it's okay to not be okay and that things can do and will get better if you want them to. You have to want to. That's been my experience, and you have to be willing to put in the time and effort, and sometimes just suck it up and be patient and keep working towards that light at the end of the tunnel. I promise you it's there. I promise you things will get better and the sun will shine again. So as always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation and gratitude for you all.